Welcome to the Revolve Recap Weekly Podcast, Special Edition 1.0, Episode 33. And we are going to look in, and look out. What's going on?
Who's this guy?
What?
You got to introduce yourself. Introduce yourself.
Oh, yeah. So what we're doing today is we are doing this podcast sans notes.
No notes. I mean, we have
So
this.
Billy has notes over here, but I have no notes.
And my notes really aren't notes.
And normally, you don't know this, but I kind of run the show.
Yeah, he does.
I have the notes. I keep us on task. People always say, why does Billy make jokes? And then you don't comment. Because I'm trying to keep us on task and make the podcast not 2 hours long. But Billy said, today I want to be in charge. So I'm David McCumber, and this is In Charge Billy. Billy's in charge of the podcast.
Billy's in charge, and he wants you to cut that out.
Okay. All right.
Hey, guys, you know what? It's going to be an exciting podcast because we're shooting from the hip. You want to know why? We looked out at all that dreariness, and we're just looking across Ferry Road, and what are they called? The
Reeds?
Well, there's like a fancy
Cattails?
term. Whatever. There's a little...
Jen, what are those bushes called across the street?
It's Phragmites.
Phragmites.
The Phragmites just going in the wind.
Phragmites.
I was over
in the
here
wind.
just playing A minor and G on the acoustic guitar. And we said, you know what? Let's wing it.
All right.
So we're winging it. No, we're not really winging it.
You said let's wing it.
All
And I
right.
was like, that's a bad idea.
But you know good things happen when we wing it. Do they?
I don't think that's ever been the case.
Well, we're starting off with this.
All right.
Tales. Oh, I got a funny story. So, this is a true story. The other day, Gina was putting Eden to bed, and Eden's like, I want to read a book. And Gina's like, no reading. Time for bed.
Wow.
It was late. And then Eden goes, can I just listen to one Tales from the Road?
That's good.
Yeah.
That's a good way to
Eden
put your
knows
kids to
about
bed.
it.
Tales from the road.
Eden
Here you
was-
go, Eden. Here's a story about a spider who tried to kill your father.
So we got Tales from the Road. I got a story today.
All right. What's your story, Billy?
You know, you guys may not know this about David, but if you want to get on his good side, you better take notes. So I expect at least one person to bring this to Lower Cape May Regional, but you can't bring it into the auditorium.
No, leave it in the lobby.
Leave it in the lobby in a
Unless
little
it's
bag.
like a sweet electric guitar or something.
It can't be a plastic bag because this is New Jersey. Plastic bags are illegal, but you could bring in another bag. You know, Dave, I don't know if he does this anymore, but Dave was a wee little lad like 5 years ago. Before bed, he just likes to have a little salty and sweet, little pretzels, some cranberry juice. You know, that's what he likes. Pretzels, cranberry juice.
Oh, I thought that was Melissa's nickname, Salty and Sweet.
Pretzels and cranberry juice is what David likes to have. And one time, about 5 years ago, we were in Budapest, which it looks like Budapest, but apparently you pronounce the ST shh. Budapest. And David was like, I really need some pretzels and some cranberry juice. So we went down to the little market, like good little Hungarians. Because we were Hungary.
We were hungry.
And so we're walking around and we're looking, and I think he found some kind of pretzel item.
Yeah.
And
it was in a clear bag. He couldn't read. That was the thing. We couldn't read anything.
I mean, well, we could read. We just couldn't read Hungarian.
Yes.
I mean, I can read.
Yeah.
So, but then we're like, we got to find cranberry juice. And so if you've ever gotten juice in Europe, it often comes in like a little box. You know what I mean?
Box,
a cardboard
like
box.
box wine.
Yeah, kind of like box wine.
But they have like orange juice like that.
Almost like the type of thing that you would get like chicken broth in, like that kind of idea. Yep. Or it's like half that size, like a box water if you go someplace really fancy, like the taco shop, you know? Anyway, so David finds something that was very clearly from the cover, some kind of red berry. And we didn't really know if it was cranberry or not, but it looked like cranberry.
It was
Could have been a boysenberry.
Whatever. Something sweet. Something sweet.
Boggenberry.
Something to go with my pretzels.
Cloudberries. Who knows? Some kind of Swedish berry. Yep. Anyway, so he's all excited. He's paying at the register. I think I bought it for him, you know, because taking care of David. And we get back to the hotel. And David can't wait to just tear into that bag of pretzels. And he opens the bag of pretzels, and he's eating the pretzels, and he's just all smiling and happy. But then he starts getting thirsty, just like Kramer.
I like to have the salt and the sweet at the same time.
Yeah, and just like Kramer, he said, these pretzels are making me thirsty.
Yeah.
So he twists off the top. And he takes a big gulp because I'm going to tell you something else you don't know about David. See how I just kind of sip the water? I take a sip. Not David. When David opens a water bottle, it's gone.
It's gone.
Doesn't matter if it's a liter, a gallon, 5-gallon jug. It's gone. So he opens it up and he starts down in that cranberry juice. But then all of a sudden he goes, ugh! As there's something weird about this cranberry juice.
Something weird about it.
It wasn't juice at all. No. It was like syrup. But was it sweet?
It was. I think it was some sort of cooking
reduction.
Syrup. Yeah. So it was like sweet. You know, it's like semi-sweet chocolate. It's like
because cranberries aren't sweet naturally.
Yeah. It was bad.
It was bad.
It wasn't bad like rotten. It just tasted bad, and it was syrup.
Because you were drinking like cranberry extract.
It was literally syrup. Like it.
It was syrup.
Yeah.
So anyway, then David's like, "Oh, it's syrup," and he's all mad. And so then he goes into the bathroom and he puts some water in like a paper cup and he mixes the syrup and he's stirring it with like the back of a pencil, trying to get it to mix. Like it's like concentrate, but it's not concentrate, it's syrup. So I want you to imagine if you put water and maple syrup together and you mix it, it doesn't actually mix. It doesn't make like this is like a maple water.
But if you drink it fast, it mixes in your mouth.
It just kind of mixes around like it's oil and water mixed together. And so he's stirring it and then he's trying to drink it really fast. Not working.
No.
It was very disappointing. Yeah. But here's the thing. For like the next 3 days, he kept trying to make it work. He kept trying to make it work. So like one day
I bought a seltzer.
Yeah, he bought like a Sprite or something like that. And I catch him and he's in the bathroom. He's trying to pour the syrup into the Sprite can so he can like make it taste better. He just would not give it up. I never succeeded, did it?
No. See, most people when they would spend a week on the road with Bill would drink booze. That's
but because he gets so sick of me.
So I had to do something, you know, and I don't drink booze. So the cranberry juice was my little source of joy in the bathroom, mixing it up. So, yeah, so I do like cranberries and all of that. That story is 100% accurate. Sometimes Tales from the Road, we embellish a little bit.
Not that one.
That was 100% accurate.
100% accurate.
Probably 3 times went into the bathroom with different things that I could try to mix up. The reason I was in the bathroom was because of the sink. If I didn't want to, if I spit it out, I didn't want to.
Yep.
Also, I wasn't like.
Go on, but
I wasn't like hiding. I mean, I was a little bit because it was embarrassing because you were making fun of me pretty hard. And then you bought it. It was a gift. I didn't want to waste it.
You don't want to waste it.
You know,
it can't be a bad.
Hungarian concentrated cranberry is like $4 a gallon. So
right,
really wanted
right.
So that was Tales from the Road. Story from David.
From the road.
Tune in next week. We have Tales from the Road about how it's illegal to kill bees in Germany.
Oh my goodness, so illegal. You get shot.
You don't get shot. Oh my goodness, Bill.
You get hung.
No, it's like a $5,000 fine.
They cut off your fingers.
All right, let's just tell the story now. When we were in Germany, we found out that if it's a $5,000 fine to kill a bee, not just any bee.
Any bee.
Like, I understand honeybees are very important to the environment.
But like hornets.
Yes, you cannot kill. So we would be like eating outside in a picnic and
wasps.
And everyone's like, don't kill the bees, don't kill the bees. And
they were wasps.
Yeah. And another thing in Germany that we found out is that neighbors love to record neighbors and turn them in. So it was like, don't kill the bees because we don't want our neighbors to see us. And our friend, I don't even know if I want to say his name because he's probably wanted in Germany.
Don't say his name. But
our friend who is from America, who's from New York, killed 2 bees in one lunch and was just like, I'm an American. I'm killing this wasp. I don't care.
But what's funny about that is that most missionaries that I know, as they live longer in Europe, they become like more European. And what I mean by that is they become a little bit more sympathetic to the European mindset as opposed to the American mindset. Often it's more sympathetic politically, like just different stuff like that. But when it comes down to those wasps, it's like you can take the boy out of New York, but you can't take New York out of the boy.
Yeah.
So literally, if you have a wasp nest like in your house, you can't just call an exterminator or deal with it. You have to call a special number, and the government comes and they like sequester that portion of your house, and you have to wait until the winter when everything goes dormant, and then they remove the nest and they transport it somewhere else.
Yeah.
But I just thought I'm just gonna point to my nose. But one of the things David said was really on the nose, and I'm just gonna I'm just gonna let it be because I feel like
that
it's
when
not
you
a
vote
good
in
idea.
November. Where do you want your country to head? You want to be able to kill bees, or remove your own wasp nests? Remember that.
You want your neighbors to report you?
Yeah. So, well,
Let's
but
move on.
don't kill honeybees.
Don't kill honeybees.
Honeybees
No.
are important to the environment, but you got a wasp, pour some kerosene on it, light it on fire. It's America.
You heard it here first.
America.
This is how we get canceled.
All right,
Hey,
Billy,
David.
what's next, buddy?
What's next is we're gonna talk about Up. We're gonna see what's going on.
Looking Up.
Looking up.
Okay.
What do we normally do at Looking Up?
Looking Up, we do a sermon recap. And yesterday, we started a new series, 2 Peter. And you're the...
Or as Trump would say, 2 Peter.
2 Peter.
2 Peter.
Yes. So, but you... it's kind of hard to recap. Your sermon was almost a recap. It was kind of an overview.
So we're recapping the recap.
So we're recapping an overview. So we thought we'd kind of make it a little different, a little fun today.
Yeah.
What are we doing?
We're gonna play a game.
Play a game. What's the game called?
The game is called Did David Pay Attention or Is He Fired?
That's like that Chris Farley skit on SNL where he goes on that Japanese game show and he's like, "See, cool me." So that's what happens. If I get it wrong, I lose my job. All right.
All right.
good.
So I did write these down because I want to make sure that I.
Okay, and you can play along at home. I mean, your job's not on the line,
but
but
I wish these were like really thick, like 100-pound
cardstock,
like David Letterman, so I could like smack it on the table.
Yeah.
Anyway. All right, David. How many times was Peter mentioned in the New Testament versus John?
Well, I'm gonna say I think John was only mentioned. You said like maybe 15 times, and then Peter was really an astronomical high number. I'm gonna say
Like 60,000.
no, like 250.
It was like 200 versus 30. Pretty good. Should we let him keep his job? I could be like Commodus. All right. Okay.
So those of you who are listening, Bill is giving a thumbs up or thumbs down, and he is. So I got a thumbs up on that.
All right.
One. Okay.
How many miracles that we know of directly impacted Peter?
Oh man, it was like 7.
All right.
Was it 7?
He lives. It was 7.
It was because that's the
bonus points.
the number of completion.
Let's see how many you can list.
Oh, okay. There's his. So it was the first. The book ends. We have the fish and the fish.
Fish and the fish.
So we have the catching of the fish. So that's 2. We have his mother-in-law. Jesus heals his mother-in-law. He finds the temple tax in the fish's mouth.
3 fish miracles. Intriguing.
Okay, that's 4. Crud, there's 3 more.
I'm gonna give you some hints. You want to call a friend?
Was it the man? Was the man that was lowered down? Was that in Peter's house?
Nope. Strike 1.
You did say he had a 2nd-story house, so I was like, oh, maybe that was. Crumb. Oh man.
All right, ready? I'll give you a hint.
Walking. Peter walked. Peter walked on Damascus. Road to Emmaus.
He walked on water.
Oh, yes.
Peter walked on water.
Now, are we talking about because Peter was are we doing Jesus' miracles? Because
Okay,
Peter was the first
miracle,
one.
They're all Jesus miracles.
But no, Paul. Peter was the first healing in Acts.
Oh, there you go. That's another miracle.
Is that another one? So that's
we
6.
got the
fish,
the 3 fish miracles,
Okay.
mother-in-law, walking on water, healing
at
that
the gate.
dude
silver and gold have I
And-
not? I don't know the seventh one.
Yes, you do. The Great Escape.
Oh, when he escapes the prison. Escapes
you
from
go.
prison. And
Seven
then he's
miracles.
like, I love that story. And he's like, it's Peter's ghost. And he's like, it's not my ghost. What the heck is Peter's
Man,
ghost?
you know what? Can I just say,
How many
nobody
times-
was laughing yesterday, or it's because the room is so big and I couldn't hear everybody. And by last night, I was ready to call a counselor because I was so insecure about nobody laughing at my jokes but Googie.
Yeah, you walked all the way across the stage and you knocked on that speaker
I
like
did.
that. And you
And
were
I was-
like,
I even
it's
risked-
Peter's
I
ghost.
even risked getting feedback on the microphone just so I could do that. And
You know
only
what?
Only Googie laughed. And I
You know what?
texted her and I was like, Googie, bonus points.
Yeah. You know, a lot of people did laugh. You just couldn't hear it because of the weirdness
Well, I
of
don't
the
need
sound.
I don't need any of these.
Yeah.
I want a real
Googie was in the front
I
row,
want
though.
a guttural laugh.
Oh,
Like
Nicole and Jeff were behind me.
Guttural laugh?
Oh, they were like, "Oh, good one, Billy." Ho,
All right.
ho, ho. I thought Santa was behind me.
He was.
Yes.
I don't want to. Jeff is Santa. All right.
So
next
that was
question.
our next question.
Question. What was Peter's last name?
Oh, Peter.
Well, when
Pumpkin Eater.
Gabriel's name was Simon.
Simon was his first name. Peter
Yes.
was the second name.
No, no.
The Rock Johnson. Peter the Rock Johnson. Peter Barjona.
Simon Bar-Jonah.
Simon Barjona.
Good
yeah.
job. Good job,
Yeah.
David.
Because, and if that was in nowadays, it would be like Johnson.
Yeah.
We should start calling Nick Johnson Nick Barjona.
Yeah.
I'm
we
gonna get some
should.
of that Barjona popcorn up in Ocean City.
All right. Here we go. What are some of the controversies or conflicts that Peter found himself in the middle of?
Oh well, Peter was because I'm a Protestant. I know that Peter was a real barn raiser, hell raiser, his sword fighter. Peter cut the ear off the guy.
That was a conflict, yeah.
in the garden, and Jesus was like, "Peter, put your sword back where it belongs."
And he was just like,
What other conflicts? He lost that race to the tomb. John smoked him, so that was a little conflict.
how about controversies? Can we say controversies? I feel like you're misunderstanding the question. He lost that race to the doom.
Controversies. There was the sword.
The Gentiles and the Jews.
Oh yeah, so when he saw the blanket come down with the food,
Some BLT.
and he had to go. Yep, and he was like, I don't think he no lizard.
Is that what he said? He was talking like Jabrina?
Yeah. So that was the controversy.
By the way, that's David's Jabrina voice. That
Yes.
you got, some of you guys remember when David and Melissa were fostering
Yes.
Angie and Jabrina. And every time David would tell a story about Jabrina, that's the voice he uses.
Mr. David, why is there a campfire in your living
Here,
room?
tell that story real quick.
Oh man. So we were foster parents for a long time, as many of you know. And we had a young lady come and live with us. She was probably maybe 6
like
or
Emma's
7.
age.
Yeah. And we have a gas-powered fireplace in our living room that's on a thermostat. So it randomly will kick on. And this young lady had never seen one of these before. So we were just sitting in the living room.
Wasn't like one of our first nights?
Yeah, it was, wintertime, and the furnace kicks on, so there's a fire in our living room in the fireplace, and she goes, "Mr. David, why is there a campfire in your living room?"
What
And
did
I
you
thought,
say?
and I said, "Well, it's not a campfire. We will have." I showed her a campfire. We
Brought her outside, showed her a real
campfire. Yes. So for the first day or two, whenever that fire would kick on, she would jump,
Be startled.
and just look at it and be like, "I don't trust that fire."
All right.
All right, so Peter, yeah. So
Give me one more conflict. You got the foot race.
was Peter in a conflict with circumcision and uncircumcision?
Yeah.
With was that with Paul?
Paul, James, Peter, they were all there.
Yeah.
Arguing about that circumcision.
But Peter also didn't he mediate for Paul? Well,
That's the word on the street, David. Good memory. All right.
Yeah.
What else you thinking?
Do I still have a job?
What else you thinking, pal? Yeah, you got a job.
Okay.
I'll
Well,
give him a
someone's got
thumbs
to
up.
edit this podcast.
Woo! Thumbs up. All right. What else you thinking? Tell us something else. Anything you learned yesterday? You're like, I thought this was good. I'm gonna tuck that in my pocket.
I really, Peter, when you gave the Protestant version of Peter, I was like, heck yeah.
Heck
like,
yeah, Peter's,
and I was
Peter's
like,
basically from America.
yeah, like and I think especially where we live, like I've been to the docks at the Lobster House. Like, I have family members that are fishermen
Right.
who are Christians.
Right.
And it's like I kind of envision like they're like this person because they're like, they're believers, but they're also a little rough around the edges. So there's, sword fights now and again. Someone gets an ear cut off down at the dock.
It's normal. It's totally normal.
It's a Friday.
Yep. But normally it's like with an oyster knife.
But then to think about, oh man, you cut your ear off with a scalp knife. It's so
That's
dull.
what I'm saying.
But no, I didn't know the Catholic version of Peter was so whitewashed.
Yeah.
And it was like, wow, that was really surprising to me. So I think I enjoyed that. The two versions that you showed and then really, in all honesty, I mean, I've read Peter and 2 Peter and know about Peter, but in my mind, it's like the New Testament. It's Paul, you know, and it's like Paul, James, Timothy,
poor little Peter.
and it's like I kind of forget about Peter.
Yeah, so
and
do
it
I.
was like, and I feel like even with maybe because it's, I don't know.
Makes you wonder if it's like been expunged from our culture because of the Protestant Catholic thing. So we just don't talk about Peter.
I don't know.
You don't talk about Peter. No.
But it's like, it's like, and then
Or
it's like
Bruno.
John, he always refers to himself as the one Jesus loved. And, so you kind of,
Wouldn't it be funny if John referred to himself as the one who won the race?
that's what I'm going to start calling myself. David, the one who likes cranberry juice.
All right,
Billy, the one who's afraid of spiders.
guys. There was a black widow on my steps the other day.
Still talking
After
about
we
this.
recorded that spider episode, I went home and there was a black widow on my steps, and I was debating whether I should step on it or I should kill it with a kettlebell.
Or you should call a friend from Germany and ask them for advice.
Yep,
Are we allowed to kill black widows?
I killed it. I killed it dead.
Yeah.
And then I sprayed so much Ortho Home Defense on my steps that if there's any egg sacs in there,
I've actually been bit by a black widow spider. So, and I survived. So I feel basically invincible.
good.
So
Keep it up. Keep up that invincibility. I hope it works
I don't
out
even
well
look
for
both
you.
ways crossing the street. I just walk.
Just drink syrup.
Yep.
I'm not even concerned about my heart.
Diabetes. Give me that syrup.
All right.
What's
Hey,
next, Billy?
We're looking in.
So, before we do that though, what's on the horizon for Peter? What are we looking at?
We're going to spend the next 8 weeks
We're gonna go towards
working
Christmas.
through 3 chapters.
Okay.
This week is just the first 4 verses.
Wow.
It's basically unpacking the gospel. Make sure you know what the gospel is. Come Sunday, you're going to figure it out because we're looking at the first 4 verses of Peter and how beautiful the gospel is. Then the next week, I think we're looking at the first 11 verses, which is how the gospel should change your life today. And then after that, Bretton's going to talk about the power of the word of God on the 23rd. And then we're going to spend 2 weeks talking about false teachers, what they look like, what they smell like, what they teach.
When a false teacher reads 2 Peter, what do you think they think?
I'm pretty sure they only read stuff that's not 2 Peter.
Okay, because I always wondered that. Because I kind of feel like if I was a false teacher and I read 2 Peter, I'd be like, I maybe want to rethink.
Man, glad I'm not this guy.
Yeah.
But if they don't have the Holy Spirit, then there's no conviction. You know what I mean?
That's true. That's true. So
that's where we're going. So you can start reading 2 Peter. Get out your little scripture journal. So I have 35 of them left. So if you didn't get a scripture journal last week, get one this Sunday. Hey, Jen, David needs a scripture journal, if you please.
I didn't get one. I was playing.
Jen said okay.
Playing the guitar. So thank you, Jen.
Yep. All right, so let's look in. This is what we're gonna do. We're gonna have some straight talk. Straight talk with this is a new section.
New segment.
Straight talk with David.
With David. Oh, I'm. What was that voice? Straight talk with David.
That was like my Will. We watched Men in Black last night. That's like my Will Smith impression.
Okay.
Straight talk with Billy and David.
Okay. Yeah, so we're going to talk about we're 2 weeks now at Lower Cape May Regional. This has been the topic for the last, month or so on the podcast, and now we're here. We got 2 weeks under our belt. The first week that had all the kids doing the kid stuff, and then Billy did a sermon. And so we wanted to be. Now we said this. Why do you listen to this podcast? You get 2 elders You get two elders who basically don't know how to shut their mouths and not share what shouldn't be shared. So we're just gonna be candid with you guys and tell you what's on our hearts.
We're moving to Pennsylvania, new location. It's in Lancaster.
Yep, and I'm
we
going
could get a barn real cheap.
Yeah. So we're gonna look at SWOT, strengths, weaknesses.
We're sticking with the B theme because you got to SWAT that wasp, and so we're doing a SWAT.
All right.
SWOT analysis, which is strengths, weakness, opportunities, threats.
Yeah.
Something you do, organizational leadership. I mean, David and I, we just get up and we lead. That's like what we do, just natural leaders.
Yep.
You
So
know?
SWOT. So Billy, what would you say are the strengths of meeting at LCMR?
Like, that's limited to like 2 bullets per thing.
Okay.
All right. So I would say major strength would be the fact that we have space for the kids. Which is great. We have space for the kids. I really was pleased with the way those pop-up classrooms turned out. You know, just the placade panels and the flooring. It just really was. I was really excited about it. I thought it was just like a really good environment, and I like the fact that we're not crammed into a small space with the kids.
Okay.
You have a strength?
Man, that's kind of the same one for me. But I think the strength is I like the foyer before the service. Seems like there's a lot more opportunity for kind of chit chat and
High
mingling.
fives.
High fives. You know, there's an opportunity. Just to meet new people. So don't go in and go right to your seat. We have a big old foyer that you can hang out and.
First, you gotta get your ticket.
Yeah, you gotta get your ticket, and the usher will rip it in half.
You don't really need a ticket.
You don't really take it. But so I think that's a strength is just that opportunity for fellowship to kind of meet people. So if you're like, hey, man, I want to meet someone at Revolve, just stand out in the foyer. You know what?
Another strength I just thought of someone is the many hands on deck has been awesome.
Yeah.
Like all people just showing up to help out. That's been really cool, and I really appreciate all you guys.
Yep. That was a bonus one. All right. Weaknesses. What are the weaknesses of LCMR? This is like tearing off the Band-Aid for Billy a little bit because yesterday we were talking about this stuff and he got kind of sad. I don't want you to be sad, Bill.
Well, I wasn't sad. It was more like I said to David and Jen that I was so tense yesterday that in the evening I felt like my upper back was sore because I must have been walking around like this all day long, like the great Cornholio.
All right. So what would you say? What was causing that?
I think that the weakness, 2 things is, we've been in this environment now for the last few years where you realize you're somebody else's guest and you really want to make sure that you are respectful of that. And 2 Mile were remarkable hosts. They never made us a single time feel like we were in the way. They were always awesome. And I really mean that. And Lower Cape May Regional's been great too. I'm not trying to say they're not, but I think that I'm just hyper aware.
Yeah.
Like I see someone eating a cracker and like I got to send in the enforcer.
Yeah.
David just comes in. Mexican luchador mask, pile driver right to the face. Kashi, watch out! Bam! You know what I mean?
Well, she shouldn't have been eating a cracker.
Watch out, Kashi. And so I think I'm just hyper aware of that. So that's like a weakness.
Yeah.
Which hopefully I'll get used to that. And then the other thing is, it's a really great room. 1,200 seats is a lot. Stage is a lot. I've never preached from a stage before. Never played bass or led worship from a stage before, and it's a very different feel. And I think for me, like 2 Mile really felt like a family, but it had some weaknesses, like the lack of room for the kids.
Yeah.
But the weakness here is it felt like last week for me, and maybe I just need to get used to it. But for me, it felt like I felt very far from everybody.
Well, that's a common thing. I mean, even bands will say that. Like bands that go from like playing
Garage
in bars
shop.
and you're playing in a garage and it's like you're playing at college parties. It's very intimate. And then when they go and they like make it big and they're playing like on bigger stages. I mean, not to say this is like,
no,
but there's like this
separation.
I
don't want to say we're the Metallica of churches.
No, but it's like just being on that stage. There's a separation that is. When we were at 2 Mile, it was very like, it was like, it felt like we were in a living room.
Yeah.
Like leading worship, which as a worship leader is like really cool.
You can hear everybody.
To just sit in a living room with like 15 people and worship is a really cool experience. So I felt like we kind of replicated that in 2 Mile. So yes, I would say a similar weakness is that it's just it's hard to lead worship, and I think it would be similar to preach.
Like you can't even tell if people are singing.
Yeah,
like stuff like that.
Yeah, so that's a challenge.
Yeah, because you don't want it to feel like you're like, I don't want to feel like a talking head.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
Yeah.
So strengths, weakness, opportunities.
So opportunities, I think this is a double-edged sword because kind of what we just talked about.
They come once in a lifetime.
Yeah. Opportunity knocks once in a lifetime. Well, you got to... All right.
Okay, go on.
2 Mile,
9 Mile,
so
6
we
mile.
have...
How many miles is it? I forget.
8 Mile.
8 Mile, that's right.
So we have opportunities is we have the opportunity to connect with our community in a really special way. Mm-hmm. We talked about this at our prayer meeting on Tuesday nights, that we could be praying for our teachers, praying for our administrators, which we actually did on Tuesday night. We prayed by name for the board members, for the administration, mm-hmm. and so we have this opportunity to connect with our community. Yeah. And I think as a church, that's a good thing, to be active in the community and to be able to connect. But it's like a double-edged sword because we want to be really good, like, tenants. So you don't want to let, just because, like, your kid eats some crackers, like, in the auditorium, now we're, bad tenants, and now we have, like, a riff.
Pile drive Kashi.
We have this, like, riff because, we mess something up in the auditorium. That's what I think. That's like, I just feel like the opportunity to be in the community around the teachers.
You're under hire, like you. What's the word I'm looking for?
You're just
like you're like, feel like someone's watching you.
Yes. So that's a bad thing, but at the same time, it's a good thing because it's putting us where people can watch us, and they can hear the gospel, and they can, see how we love one another.
No, it's a great observation. It's like there's an opportunity and a threat. The opportunity is that you're more in public eye. The threat is that you're more in public eye.
Yeah.
Which is really good observation. I think the other opportunity that I was thinking about is similar. Like I pulled John aside yesterday, who's the band director, and I said to him, if there's ever opportunities for us to volunteer, like let's say that you need some volunteers to help out with like
spring musical or
spring
something.
musical. I said, let us know, because maybe we could kind of get our foot in the door and help the community and serve the school. So that's another opportunity, I thought.
Yeah.
All right, well, you already shared one threat, which was a great threat. Just the idea of that we are more under public scrutiny, so we just can't be the same old idiotic guys we are, but any other threats come to your mind?
I think there is an opportunity because I think with
threat, you mean?
Well, yes, there's an opportunity for a threat because we're once again more labor intensive with serve staff. We don't want to burn people out.
Yeah, there's a threat of burnout, and that could be bad because burnout turns to resent, which turns to bitterness, which turns to people walking away from the church and maybe walking away from the Lord, and it's often unintentional.
Yeah,
and
so we want to really be aware of not abusing our serve staff. And
so if you feel burned out, tell us. Don't just get mad at us because we already confessed that we're idiots. I mean, David drank syrup.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
But, and Bill shared as well. And we both felt very tense after service yesterday because there's a lot going on where normally literally we could just kind of show up, plug and play for worship and for preaching. But there's a lot of setup, there's a lot of moving parts, and for the elders and for the leadership staff, it's just a lot of pressure.
Yeah.
And so if we're feeling that, you could be feeling that as well. So let us know, because
cut us some slack.
We'll
cut you some slack.
And we'll give you a break.
We'll cut some slack for everybody.
Yeah.
What's that? Is that your dad driving by?
No. But and stop sneaking coffee in.
If somebody sneaks coffee in, I will cut off your pinkies.
We see it. We see you.
We see you're like this.
We see you sneaking in coffee. We don't want to be the rules.
Put it in your purse.
We don't want to be the rules police, but we are someone's guest.
I will legitimately cut off your hand with a machete.
He will not. My goodness, people are gonna think we're the Taliban. We just said we're under a microscope.
There's a towel band?
You're yes, there's a plastic bag and a towel and a
I'm not going to cut off your hand because that would be an archaic rule.
Yes.
But I might have to give you a little talking to.
Yes. But just remember, it's just a cup of coffee. You don't need it.
You know who you are.
What's more important is
Templeton.
What's more important is the relationship that we're building with LCMR is more important than a cup of coffee. So
all right, now we got a little quick brain break.
Brain break. All right. We're going to go play a game of
Brain
chess or something?
break. No, brain break. I got to tell you guys something. That's an announcement. What's up at Revolve? Brain break.
What is it?
We got a guy coming to the church. His name Frank.
We do have a Frank now.
So we can't use Frank as our generic illustration anymore.
Yeah, that's going to be tough because Frank's been your guy that you go to.
Well, so I want to give the people.
I don't like Templeton.
Well, no, I want to give the people an opportunity to pick a name.
Okay. So leave it
I
in the
suggested
comments.
Templeton or Mortimer, but David doesn't like those because he says they're hard to say.
Well, I don't want to. If I fill in the pulpit and I got to give a random,
You got to
and
use the
I
same
don't
thing.
use
So this is why
Templeton.
I want you guys to help us pick a name. All right?
Why don't we just make the name Bill of the guy who's always making mistakes, being a knucklehead?
Mwah, mwah, mwah. On the nose.
Yeah.
Very true. Maybe this is why I have breathing issues.
So, all right. So
All right.
what's your name for Bill's random guy who's always making mistakes that he can use as an illustration?
Maybe Hans. Super duper.
Yeah. If we picked like
Georg?
Piero.
No, I like Piero.
I like Piero, but I mean
Hans.
a name like that is very
Gunther. No, because
know.
then they might maybe people think we're making fun of them. Hans.
Yeah.
Hans from the Southern Isles. He was the villain in Frozen.
yeah, something that's or or Shrek. Maybe just a name like Shrek. Shrek.
No, because then people are going to be like, why is he talking about Shrek?
Yeah, that's
Hans is like, well, there might be a guy named Hans. Well, anyway, give us your suggestions. Our vote is Hans or something like that.
We do have a lot of Swedes.
Sebastian?
We have a lot of Swedes.
Yeah, we don't want to do something that might offend the Swedes.
Yeah, we have a lot of them in the audience.
Yeah. Anyway, give us your ideas. It's time for our third and final section, Looking Out. And David, I would like for you to give in a little bit of brief update or catch people up to speed on what we did Thursday, Friday, and Saturday.
I will. So Quest Academy is a school for gifted young men and women.
Their tagline is, so you want to be a hero?
Yes, Quest Academy. No, so Quest Academy is a online school for it's not just Arabic speakers.
Arabic. It's
That's
mostly
the main
Arabic
thing.
speaking, like a Bible, academy.
Yeah. So, and it is made for training leaders in the Arabic world that are working mostly within Europe, but we have some folks from other parts of the world as well. And they have found a weakness in their training. They've been doing this for a couple years. One of the weaknesses is practical implication of discipleship tools, which is basically the only thing Bill and I are good
It's
at.
the only thing we're good at.
So we are taking our version of the hub, the ABCs of discipleship, and we are training. We are training some of these leaders in these principles. So the last couple of days, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, we were in Zoom trainings, teaching some of these principles, and it was really cool. It was about 20. It was probably 20 people.
I think it was like 23 people or something like that.
And then it's a bit of a challenge. Bill did his lesson, and I'll be doing mine in a couple weeks, but it was a little bit of a challenge because you're going through a translator and all that. But it really is the stuff that we talk about in the hub is just I don't want to toot our own horn, but it's just
it's not
really
like we
good.
invented it.
No, but it's really good practical stuff, and it seemed like people were really clicking with it. And a lot of the leaders have a traditional Christian background, so they come from traditional churches, even if they're from Egypt or places in the Middle East. They're still very traditional. Yeah. And so the idea of being more missional, and doing
in other words, not just inviting someone to church.
Yeah.
That kind of idea.
So so I thought that was pretty good.
Yeah. looking forward to it. It was just really an intro. Those first 3 days were just like intro days, and we only did one of the 3. But then a lot of the stuff from here on out is with me, David, and Michael, one of our partners who you guys know.
Yep.
Michael always listens to the podcast. Shout out, Michael.
Yes, Michael. Michael's a good guy. Michael, we really enjoyed having, because we hadn't spent time with Michael in like 2 or 3 years.
Yep.
Other than just being on Zoom and emailing and stuff. And which, you know, you can build a relationship that way, but relationships are built better in person, I think.
Yeah, because you never know. You might like meet someone on Zoom and you meet them in person. They're only like 18 inches tall.
Yeah, so Michael is a regular height. He's probably
he's
5'7".
like my height. He's like my height.
5'8". Yeah, and
he's not 18 inches tall.
He's not 18 inches tall, and he doesn't
I wish
fit in a
you were,
cupboard.
Michael. I wish you were like this big. I could
like
just
the Indian
carry
in the
you
cupboard.
around like on my shoulder.
That would be
Let's
good.
go, Michael.
So, all right. So, but it was really great getting to know Michael and knowing that, you know, this guy's a good guy, and we are really happy to be partnered with him, and is doing awesome work in Germany.
Speaking of which, Michael, as you guys know, he's a church planner. They had their first meeting in a coffee shop on Sunday. And Michael has an Amazon wish list that they use for their church and for their personal things. And it's just stuff like, he had a cajon on there. Somebody bought the cajon, things like that. And so, you know what? We'll link to the wish list. And if you guys want to, bless that family,
and you can
make sure you ship it to their house in Germany, or you're going to be like, how come this fixture has 80 euros shipping? It's because you're shipping it to your house. So make sure you ship it to them, and then Amazon, it's free shipping if you ship it to them. But if you ship it over the Atlantic Ocean, they charge you.
Yeah, because you don't need a projector at your house.
No.
But Michael's church could use a projector.
Right.
So,
right.
Yeah.
And one of the things that's on there, big ticket item, is electric scooter, because Michael hurt his knee, and so it like hurts to ride his bike, and so
yeah. And he wants to go for some sweet jumps.
Woo! All right. Oh, we should put in that video. Next week, maybe we should talk about.
Oh man, Scooter Bro. Do you have that video?
Oh yeah,
I know you do. All right. Well, that is it, ladies and gentlemen, for the version.
Whoa! I thought I was in charge.
Oh, I forgot.
Who's in charge of this podcast? Are we going long?
Apparently.
Closing word. I wrote this down. I feel like taking a nap. David, rapid. Give us 3 weird places you've taken naps.
All right. Number 1 would be Moria Camp.
On a shelf.
On a shelf. So a refugee camp in Greece, 20,000 people. I was working security through the night.
Real safe.
Yeah. And the guy who I was working security with did not like me. I talked too much, and he said, "Why don't you go take a nap and leave me alone?" So,
and he did.
I took a nap on a
just
shelf
want you to picture David napping on a shelf
in a warehouse.
Okay.
Yep.
That was number 1.
Second one. Oh man, my dad listens to this podcast, so this isn't good. But when I worked at the ferry,
oh boy.
It was a day like today. It was really cold. We were painting inside. It was probably in the wintertime. So it was actually even colder.
Classic artist, am I right, Big Dave?
So they were inspecting all the life jackets, and so there was piles and piles of like 200 life jackets.
That sounds pretty nice.
I moved them out of the way and got behind them and made like a little shelf, and I slept on the life jackets.
What is with you taking naps on a shelf?
Behind the life jackets, on the life jackets. Number 3, I had a job. I worked at Dellis 5 and 10 on the Cape May Mall.
Yeah.
Washington Street Mall. And one time they were like, you need to go. It was the day after the prom. So I was up all night from the prom. And they said, you need to go up and clean the warehouse and organize it. And I went up and I started like folding all the beach towels and everything. And I started laying them out. And I slept and I laid out on the beach towels and I took a nap for like 3 hours. I got up, I folded everything, finished cleaning the warehouse. I came downstairs and they're like, no one's ever cleaned the warehouse that fast. They're like, you did a great job. And I was like, bango. So that was like my nap spot for every day. I would go to work.
Every day.
I would take a nap.
Now you know why his job's on the chopping block. Because sometimes Jen and I come into the office and David's napping underneath the...
Yep, with on a bunch of life jackets.
Hey guys, thanks for joining us in this week's special edition podcast. Special edition 1.0.
Go take a nap. It's good for the soul.
It's a good napping day.